What is up, Op Warriors? It's your boy Edward V, and today is definitely 100% a special video because I'm actually going to respond to this video done by a channel called Justyn's Journey, titled My Full Weight Loss / Weight Gain Journey, the documentary. Now, this is an interesting look into the mind of someone who is trying to lose weight, and this can definitely help those who are struggling with weight loss. Now, let's go ahead and break it down in this video. Stay tuned. Guys, not going to bog you down with my jump rope, but if you want a jump rope with a aluminum handle, ergonomic design, and swivel design, all of that for just $16.50, you can't go wrong with the Fledge Fitness jump rope. You can click on the top right hand corner of this video or down in the description box below. And of course, as always, guys, thank you for your support. Now let's go ahead and jump right into the video. Something that I learned from Rachel Sharp, for example, who I don't believe she does any more videos on YouTube, but I guess about a year or 2 years back, I did a video about her because she opened my mind to the importance of anecdotal evidence. I was always really straightforward, and I always focused so much on the scientific data because I think that that's the most important thing when you're applying it to a vast majority of people. But the things that you don't get from those studies is the psychological feelings and the mindset of the participants. You get the results, the data, but they're basically just numbers. You don't even know who those people are. You don't know what they feel when they're going through these different diets. And Rachel Sharp actually opened my eyes when she did her talk about her weight loss journey. And it made me kind of realize how important it is to see these anecdotal evidence, especially for the psychology of weight loss, which I feel that both of these things need to be aligned for you to be successful. Now, Justyn's video is very, you can't help but feel very empathetic or sympathetic to what she's going through. Now, I had my weight loss journey and my experience, and I've posted it on here. And I felt, I felt a certain level of embarrassment and things to that nature when I was at my heaviest. But my heaviest was nowhere near what she had to go through, obviously. But I understand certain elements of what she was feeling because I was feeling those things too. I didn't want to be on camera. I didn't want people to take pictures of me. People that used to see me from before when I was really, really skinny. Then they saw me again and they're like, whoa, how did this happen to you? And I was getting those same vibes that she was getting. But obviously for her, it was getting away from her a little bit more because she was gaining way more weight. She was going into the morbidly obese kind of spectrum. I get that her thing was probably more amplified than what happened to me. But the interesting thing about her video is that she lost weight, but she regained all her weight and then some. And it was a journey. She built a YouTube channel literally to look at, what her journey would be losing weight. And I'm not going to completely explain everything. It's a documentary style thing that she did, about 36 minutes long. But it's interesting because she wasn't overweight when she was young. Usually when it's harder to lose weight for some people or some people who gain weight, they tend to be, or some people who gain that much weight, the amount of weight that Justyn gained, they tend to already kind of have weight problems and weight issues when they're young. And this does have scientific elements attached to it because the more weight you gain, the more fat cells, the adipocytes, the more adipocytes you create. And they start to split and generate more adipocytes because you're gaining more and more fat cells. So basically the way fat cells work is that they're just a small cell that gets filled with fatty acids, with triglycerides, gets filled in there. And then it expands, and then you have a bunch of them expanding. Thus, you see the weight gain because it's all over your body. And if you're gaining too much weight, you create more cells just to put more fatty acids to expand those cells. When you hit a certain age, around 21 years old, you stop making more fat cells. But each fat cell that shrinks is actually sending out signals to your body, sending these these little signals that it wants to eat so that it can be filled. If you think about it, if you're skinny and you go into your age of 21 and you never gained any weight, it's easier for you to not gain weight because you have less fat cells in your body that have established itself. Unlike if you gain any weight or you have any weight gain during your child years or teenage years, you'll have more adipocytes. I hope that makes sense. And each one of those are constantly each one of those are constantly sending out these different signals that are asking you to eat. If you reduce them, if you lose all the weight and you reduce them, that's a lot of empty adipocytes that are still sending out these signals because they're empty and they want to be filled with the triglycerides. But she wasn't really overweight, super overweight when she was young, and she was in the cheerleading squad and she was doing different things where she was active. So she wasn't overweight, she was just normal weight, and then she started to gain weight later down the line. But the thing is that before she reached that pivotal age, she started gaining weight rapidly, and she was eating things like McDonald's and Wendy's and things of that nature. She ended up creating a dependency on food. She just became addicted to the feeling of eating food, the taste and things like that. And that happens to people. That happens to everyone. That's happened to me. That happens to a lot of people. And she tried, and she gained so much weight that she got to a point where it was so much that she couldn't believe that she had even reached this point. She thought to herself, I'll never pass. I think it was something like 210 pounds. And then she passed 210 pounds and she made it all the way into like 260, and she couldn't believe where she was. And like, she even recorded her car, and she shows her car has all of these different Sonics and McDonald's bags and Wendy's bags and cups and sodas and stuff like that. And it's just a mess. And she feels bad about herself and what's going on with her life, and how she cannot gain control of her weight loss. But then she tried a bunch of stuff. She even said she tried starving herself, which she did prolonged fasting, which she would just not eat for multiple days. No strategy behind it, just not eating for multiple days. She's tried the keto diet, she's tried all these other diets, and they don't work for her. And I think the main reason that they didn't work, in terms of the food element itself, because there's also the psychology element that's very delicate, and she needs to be able to figure that part out before she could kind of take different steps forward to the weight loss so that it's sustainable. But the reason it didn't work is because for most of her life, she looked at food as bad and good. She had a misconception, which is why I never push bad and good food. If you want to eat ice cream, eat ice cream. If you want to eat popcorn, eat popcorn. If you want to eat the things that you like to eat them, but just make sure that you are within your calorie limit so that you can ensure that you don't gain weight. That's all it is. And unfortunately, some things are going to taste really, really good and have so much calories that you have to account for that, and that's going to take away from eating other things. Some foods are more satiating, like protein-based foods or things like steak. They're more satiating, so you can feel full for not that much calories. So you have to be smart about how you eat, but don't think that something is bad and something is good. It isn't bad, it isn't good. Just make sure that you're nutritionally balanced. You don't have to only eat kale to be nutritionally balanced. You can eat the foods that you like, just eat them in moderation. But I think that she had that negative food versus positive food kind of mentality that most people for some reason run with. Like, oh, if you're eating a donut, you're automatically going to gain weight because it's a donut. Even though the donut by itself is maybe 400 calories, if you just ate that donut, you're not gaining weight. But that's how people view those kind of things. That's the misconception that people have when it comes to good foods and bad foods. And that really causes a lot of psychological issues because people feel that they can never stick to any diet because they have to stick to these green type foods that don't taste that good. So she did everything, and she found Weight Watchers, which Weight Watchers was the thing that showed her how to just eat the stuff that she likes in moderation, and she was successful. I believe she lost 73 pounds on Weight Watchers, and you can see through the video that she lost a substantial amount of visible weight, and she was becoming a little bit happier and happier with her weight. And she just at one point went on a trip. She said that she went on a trip, and from that trip She just decided to eat whatever she wants, and she'll get back to her Weight Watchers program when she gets home. But once she went into that rabbit hole, which is what I always tell everybody, that if you have too many consecutive days where you are breaking your protocol, remember, you are breaking a lifelong habit or multi-year habit within just a few months. So you have months going up against years. So you have to be very careful when you are doing consecutive breaking of whatever protocol you're doing, because that could literally relapse you back into eating a certain type of way. And lo and behold, that's what happened to her as well. She went back home and she could not get that rhythm that she built a new rhythm, but she couldn't get the old rhythm to break when she got a little taste of what it was like to eat that way from before. She ended up eating that way. She gained all her weight back, and now she's in a happier place, because what she's doing is she's focusing her energy and her mental state on literally her mental state, the psychology of food, and she has a nutritional therapist who's helping her understand where she is psychologically, so that she can get to a better and happier place. Now, it's important to, this is why I say that there's multiple things when it comes to things like eating disorders or feeling a certain type of way when you want to eat certain foods, and when you want to eat a certain amount of food, and you want to live a certain lifestyle. If you want to lose weight, there always has to be an intervention. You have to apply an intervention. And you have to make sure that the intervention that you apply is sustainable. You have to make sure that you put the most comfortable type of system that you can within the realm of allowing weight loss to take place, so that you can adhere to it for the long term. She lost 73 pounds using Weight Watchers, but she gained it all back. This is why, in my opinion, the most important element, and this is why these kind of videos are good, these kind of anecdotal videos are good, because they show us the psychology, basically, of what someone goes through when they go through a weight loss program. Because, for example, if Weight Watchers had a study and she was one of the participants, she would have been successful in that study based on how much weight she lost. But the follow-up years later would show a different outcome, that there was a lapse there, that there wasn't a full-blown weight loss completion and adherence. So adherence is the top. So even if I put adherence so high that if you feel that intermittent fasting is something that you cannot do, do not do it. Pick something else. Figure out something else so that you can adhere to the diet, because adherence is that important. Clearly, she wasn't able to adhere to it. But with her, I think she's understanding that she needs to take one small step forward instead of taking a giant leap forward, which is important, because if she doesn't clear that up, it might be difficult for her moving forward to actually lose the weight that she needs to lose, not just for her, for her, how she looks, her image, but also for her health as well, because of things like visceral fat. So she's in a happier place now. She's now going into a new journey of getting into the right mental state so she could start losing weight. But it's a good story, and I just wanted to share the story. It's not really something that I feel like her story can help people who feel that way, who feel the way that she does, and feel and understands that they just need to kind of move into the direction that will best help them. It's not just black and white. It's not just intermittent fasting can help you, or the keto diet can help you, or being a vegan can help you, or the carnivore diet can help you. It's figuring out mentally what can actually get you to the best mindset so that you can be successful down the line. Now you can see that she has the potential to lose weight because she did do it, but like I said, the dangers of relapsing is very important. You need to understand that if you think that, hey, I'm just going to go on this small vacation and eat this and that, and I'll be back on it when I get back, it could throw everything off. Consecutive days of going against your protocol is like candy for your body who's trying to kind of get back to that rhythm that it built over years. You really have to rip and tear that rhythm that you built, because remember, you're battling just a few, you basically just have a few months versus years of things that you've been doing. So those few months are already at a disadvantage. So you have to be as diligent as you can with your protocol during those few months, so that you don't give any indicators to your body that there's a possibility of going back. Because then ghrelin, the hunger hormone, is going to shoot like crazy to get you to continue to eat, and it's going to definitely backfire on you. But I felt very empathetic and sympathetic to Justyn, and it touched me. It was a very heartfelt video, and I definitely would recommend you guys take a look at it so you can see how it feels to go through that process, so you can relate to that process, and hopefully it could be inspirational to you and also help you cope with certain feelings of negativity that you might have when it comes to weight gain or even weight loss. I'm going to go ahead and link the video down in the description box below, so you can go ahead and take a look at it. Her channel is called Justyn's Journey. I think she has about 52,000 subscribers. So if you can go over there, give her a subscribe, give her a thumbs up, tell her something nice in the comment section, because trust me, these comment sections on YouTube can be very nasty. Everyone who's on YouTube experiences this over and over again. So when you give somebody something positive, when you provide something positive to the YouTube landscape, you stick out in a positive way, and that brings something special to the content creators. So go ahead, send her a like, give her a subscribe, and tell her that Fledge Fitness sent you. And of course, as always, I want to thank my patrons for my Patreon. I'm going to go ahead and put their names right up here.